Hello and welcome to Consist. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office has launched a criminal probe into former President Donald Trump's attempts to overturn Georgia's election results, including a call in which he asked Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find enough votes for him. Fannie T. Willis, a Democratic prosecutor in Fulton County, Georgia, has sent a letter to election officials in the state asking them to preserve documents and other materials in relation to an investigation into attempts to influence the administration of the 2020 Georgia general election. Now, most of us have a decent view on the current impeachment proceedings of the Senate. Senator Cruz was reported as saying that the outcome of that trial is preordained and that Trump will be acquitted. We never know until the final word is out, but still we all know that the odds of getting a conviction in the Senate is very slim. With that being said, we also don't know what state officials can and will do in relation to the actions of Donald Trump. And the direction in which the district attorney from Fulton County, Georgia, is moving is one great example. The attorney noted his ability to run this investigation in the letter, writing, "This office is the one agency with jurisdiction that is not a witness to the conduct that is the subject of the investigation. The agency has jurisdiction over this matter because this judicial circuit is where the Georgia government entities that were contacted are headquartered, including the Office of the Governor, the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and the General Assembly." The letter sent by the district attorney is kind of the first step with lawsuits where you notify people that they need to preserve records. It's called the Stop Destruction Letter or Preservation Letter. And the letter serves as the tool to protect the evidence. Because if you destroy the evidence after getting that letter, then such action becomes a crime. The duty to preserve evidence will start now and will continue even after the verdict is delivered. And NBC News reported that the investigation by Fulton County prosecutors will look into a damning phone call in which Trump begged Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find the votes to reverse President Joe Biden's victory. A spokesperson for Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr's office confirmed to them that they received the letter and that officials are in the process of reviewing and synthesizing it. Governor Brian Kemp's office has also confirmed it. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger office has also opened a separate investigation into the phone call from Trump. Here is Rick Hazen, an election law expert, breaking down this case
Rick,
for us.
Is what happened on this call, is this illegal? What do you hear in this phone call between the president and the Secretary of State of Georgia?
Well, it sure sounds like what the president was asking for was for the Secretary of State to manufacture votes, just enough votes to give him a one-vote margin in Georgia. It's not clear how this would work. Georgia's already sent in its electoral college votes, but it sounds like it could be a crime under both federal law and under state law, because when you ask someone to come up with fake votes, that's kind of the definition of election fraud. The only question here, I think, is about Trump's state of mind. If, in fact, he actually believes the kind of nonsense that he's been spouting about fraud and that this would not be manufacturing votes, but actually righting a wrong, maybe he could make that kind of defense. But I certainly think there's enough for Georgia and federal prosecutors to look at as to whether or not this actually is a crime.
Abby, let me play what the Secretary of State of Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, said about this, about also what he told the president. But he talked about it this morning. Let me play this.
The data that he has is just plain wrong. He had hundreds and hundreds of people, he said, that were dead that voted. We found 2. That's an example of he has bad data.
But none of this is going to convince the president, as we can see now, of anything, though, Abby.
Yeah, and I think that Brad Raffensperger is actually being incredibly polite and diplomatic by saying that the president has bad data. The president is using information that he has gleaned from the internet that is completely invented in nature, and he has no interest in finding out the truth because he's only interested in burrowing deeper and deeper into these conspiracy theories. The problem is that you cannot reason, as everyone saw and heard in that call, with the president on this issue. And so I don't expect that one day he's going to wake up and realize that he was wrong. I think it is going to come down to the people around him and Republicans in Washington to make a decision about whether they want to be aligned with the kind of ravings of the president on this call or with the truth. And what you're hearing from people like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley is basically, oh, well, people are saying that there's fraud going on, or people are saying that there's something nefarious happening. And the reason that they're doing that is because they know that there's no evidence of these claims. And as Rick said, I don't know if the president knows or not. I don't think he really cares what the truth is. He just wants to win at the end of the day.
After New York, Georgia has now become the second state where Trump is facing criminal investigations. The Senate trial will be over soon, but these investigations by state officials will take a life of their own, and it will take a very long time to get closure. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please do subscribe.